Ego and dopamine stimulation are two of the biggest problems we have in today's world. I'd argue they're the two biggest problems we have in modern day society and humanity. So let's start with dopamine overstimulation. First off, it is everywhere. What you're watching this on right now stimulates your dopamine. Now, that doesn't mean all dopamine is bad, but when you're overstimulating, it's bad. Even too much of a good thing is bad. And, at least you're watching something educational or self-help improvement, right? But there's so much other shit on the internet that you're probably watching or whatever. Dopamine overstimulation keeps you safe or feeling safe. Your monkey brain doesn't have discernment like your prefrontal cortex and your big brain, right? So you simply run on the system that once helped our ancestors before modern society and the ease of life. Your system runs in a way that when you get dopamine, your body feels safe. It feels like it's going to stay alive. It feels like it needs to stay here. Like it needs to stay where the good feelings are, because dopamine used to mean survival. Dopamine wasn't something we could just fucking get out of nowhere. Dopamine was killing an animal, cooking it, and eating it. It was reproducing. It was surviving, essentially. That's what dopamine was. It's surviving and thriving. And it's still thriving nowadays, as long as you're not overstimulating yourself. Dopamine is a tool and is a amazing thing. And you need it to be successful, to be something. Like that's what drives you. You get those spikes, but when you do the wrong things with it, you overstimulate. You're on social media all the time. You're watching porn. You're doing drugs. You're wasting all your time on just pointless shit that makes you feel good. You're using it wrong, and it's fucking up your life. Now, the second point is the ego. Your ego is designed to keep you safe. This also stems from millions and millions of years ago. As humans, we developed ego because we needed to fit into the pack. If we got kicked out of the pack, we did. Nowadays, shit, you just run to your McDonald's and you got food, and there's no fucking wild animals or people. I mean, depends where you at, but there's not people with blickies running around shooting people like the Purge, right? Like, it's not that deep anymore. You don't need to fit into a tribe to survive. Bars. All you need to do is make enough money to sustain your housing and your food, and that's pretty much it, I'd say. You go walk, get a car. But that's why the ego is bad now, because your ego is keeping you complacent and stuck in the same place, because your ego protects who you are. Of course, you grow as a person very slowly if you're trapped in ego and overstimulation, but you grow over time. Your ego changes or it allows certain things in and whatever, but you're tanking your growth. You're gonna grow in what someone could grow in 6 months in fucking 5 years, 6 years. That's what it's gonna take you. And I'm dead ass. Growth is not linear, it's an exponential thing. So when ego plagues you, you will always defend yourself for whatever you're doing. If someone says something that gets on your, that calls you out in a way, or you meet someone that kind of highlights your flaws, or you see your flaws by being around them, your ego kicks in and it protects you and it makes you feel okay, and it defends you for being a fucking loser or whatever you are, right? It defends who you are in the moment. And ego itself isn't inherently a bad thing, just like dopamine isn't an inherently bad thing. You just have to reform your ego, just the same way that you have to reform the way you use dopamine and absorb it and get spikes of it. So here's the kind of infinite loop between dopamine and overstimulation. Infinite until you fix it. So first, you overstimulate. It feels great, but then you feel like shit after, because your life is really shit and you don't like the way your life is, and nothing is going according to plan, and you're unlucky and all the other bullshit. But then your ego justifies it, oh, it's okay, right? You're good, bro. This is just life, or you'll get better tomorrow. And then guess what you do next? You overstimulate. That's the loop. You overstimulate, you feel shitty, you tell yourself it's okay subconsciously, and you do it again. Now, if you had to tell me yes or no right now, does that sound like a good life? Does that sound right? Does that sound like a top performer? Is that how a top performer lives? No. And you're probably thinking, well, how do I fix the infinite loop? Well, there's only one option, right? In the whole loop, if you look at it, there's overstimulation, then there's feeling like shit, and there's your ego defending your current self, and then there's the restart of the loop. Right here, ego, that's where it is. Once you can get past your ego, reform it and start controlling it and changing the way it behaves, you can force yourself to see the truth and live the truth and just fucking admit that, like, okay, I have problems. I need to fix the problems. That's the first step. The first step is knowing and accepting and understanding. Once you do that, then you can start taking actionable steps to break the loop, to break your overstimulation problem. And as you do that, it might take a long time, it might be fast, it might take a long time. It depends on your willpower. I mean, you can just fucking say no and quit everything. That's the truth. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's the truth of life. People say it's hard, and I agree, like in the sense of it was hard for me, but in reality, you just say no and don't do it. It's just about resisting the urges. Nobody's forcing you to do it except for yourself. And you have total control over yourself, unless you're hypnotized or some shit. So all you have to do is say no. But I understand, just like myself, the process will likely take a long time. And it's not gonna be like, but you need to start the process. You need to adapt your ego into something that thinks you're good. You don't wanna think you're some fucking loser, per se. But like, you wanna know what's good about you and be like, yeah, I'm good, but I can be better, right? So you wanna know what's good about you, and you want to change what's bad. You need to be open to change. You need to make it not activate and resist when someone calls you out or you feel a bad feeling, because you're feeling that feeling for a reason. Feelings are messengers. They're not something bad. They're not something we should avoid. If you're feeling off or you feel offended because someone said something and it calls out your flaw, it's a fucking flaw. Just fix it. Like, don't resist it. You need to retrain your brain to understand that life is about growth, not who you are right now. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching. If I resonated with you in any way, shape, or form, I implore you to subscribe and turn on noties so you never miss a future upload. If you'd like to know me on a more personal level, you should check out my vlog, Joseph Marrone. The link will be in the description.